Hello, welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and later on our podcast channel. Newcastle United have been beaten by West Ham 4-2 at St James's Park on the opening day of the season. Lee Ryder still in the ground there. And Lee, it was a tale of two performances, really, bit of Jekyll and Hyde. First half, Newcastle went into the break 2-1, looked very good. And then second half, defensively, they just went missing a bit.
Yeah, I mean, no complaints at all with the first half. It was a dream start, really, to get the goal when they did. And my concern going into the game was the fitness, because I've watched all of pre-season, haven't seen too much of John Joe Shelvey, and my concern was his fitness and how long Alan St-Maximin could last. Those were my big concerns. And sadly, in the second half, I think Newcastle, they come out and basically conceded those 3 goals in the space of 21 minutes. And sadly, that cost them the game. And by that point, both Shelvey and St-Maximin, they were struggling a bit fitness-wise. But ultimately, Newcastle probably going to have to dust themselves down from this one now. And yeah, what can you say? I mean, West Ham had a fantastic season last year, no doubt about that. But Newcastle beat them twice. So it's not like they're incapable of winning a game like this. Just second half, the defence just seemed to switch off a little bit. They were in a good position. And sadly, they opened this new season with a defeat. But there's probably other reasons that we could talk about. And, for me, the lack of signings in the summer. I mean, yes, we've got Joe Willock on board now, but he was signed too late. He couldn't feature in this game. He wouldn't have started anyway. He would have come off the bench. But unfortunately, there was no other fresh impetus. You need summer signings in on day one of pre-season so they can get integrated and they can get fit. And Newcastle just need those 1 or 2 new faces just to keep things ticking over. It's pretty much the same side as last season, apart from Joe Willock. Well, Joe Willock was there in the second half of last season, but it's still a new face. But at the end of the day, they needed something else, and it wasn't there, unfortunately.
The goals from Newcastle came from Wilson and Murphy, and West Ham got goals from Cresswell, Benrahma, Souček, and Antonio. Steve Bruce seemed particularly angry with, I think it was the third goal, that was nearly ruled offside. That had to go to VR check. Do you think he'll be disappointed at the way the defence performed and switching off at the vital times?
Yeah, I mean, there seems to be a bit of debate over the penalty. I've seen it once on the monitor. It looks soft to me. I think the referee actually could have had a look in the stadium himself and seen that. But, that went against Newcastle. But then, even then, Freddie Woodman makes a good save on his debut. It was almost a dream moment for the kid. But then, if you look at the replay of that goal, they're standing still down there, and it was that was hard for me to take.
You mentioned Freddie Woodman then. Other than, good save with the penalty. Do you think he did it right on his debut?
I'm not going to hammer Freddie Woodman because he's coming on his debut. I've seen a few things on Twitter, people criticising him, but let's be honest, there was a very experienced defence around him there today, and he's not devoid of blame when you concede 4 goals. But at the end of the day, I'd expect a little bit more protection from a set of senior defenders. And I feel for him a bit. I don't think he got the protection he required. And unfortunately, he'll probably have to learn from this. But it hasn't been a perfect summer for him either. He was all lined up to go to Bournemouth. He thought he was going to be playing 40-odd games for them. He's been, kept at Newcastle. I mean, he's made his debut today, and that's fantastic. His Premier League debut. But, mentally he thought he was going to be doing one thing. He's been thrown in the deep end and he's doing this. So it's been tough for him. So, we'll see where they are next week in terms of goalkeepers. And it's going to be interesting to see how things pan out in the next few weeks.
Lascelles is on the bench, Lee. I think Fernandes was the captain, wasn't he? A few people in the comments asking whether you think Newcastle missed Lascelles today in the back 5 that it was.
Well, it's probably easy to say that they missed him now when they've conceded 4. But I thought it was a big call from Steve Bruce, because to bench your captain is a big one. And Kieran Clark they were probably neck and neck to play today, and Kieran Clark got the nod. And I'm sure all the defenders can look back at today and think they could have done a lot better. It's easy to say now, as I say, but yeah, Lascelles may well find himself walking straight back in the team after this.
But positively, I mean, forward going, if the front three remain fit, you get Willikin. Attacking wise, they look quite positive going forward. Wilson, St. Maximin, Almiron, crosses from either flank. There are positives to take from today, do you think?
Yeah, they are. They won't carry much weight this evening because the inquest's already started. But offensively, you haven't got too much of a problem with it. They go to Aston Villa next week. Aston Villa had a tough start as well at Watford. So it's going to be interesting, that game next week. But yeah, the season started, and the pressure is on Newcastle straight away. They've lost the first game, so it can only get better.
You've spoken to Steve Bruce. What was his reaction like? How did he take in the game?
I think he was talking about defensively, they've got to do better. I think he had valid complaints about the VAR. He was asked about the lack of signings. He said he didn't say there was anything imminent. He said that they've got what they've got, and they'll have to go into the next week and see where they are. But it sounds to me like nothing's around the corner anyway. So yeah, it's we start turning attention to Aston Villa already.
And just finally, because I know you're going to have to get out of the stadium in due course, what was it like having the fans back? I was outside pre-game doing a bit of video to those who wanted to talk to us here at Chronicle Live, and the buzz and the atmosphere outside was brilliant, so I can't even begin to imagine what it was like inside.
Yeah, it was jumping. I think the old Apple Watch was going off with warnings about the hearing, protect your ears, and it was, I think it was over 101 decibels when the first goal went in. So look, you can't. There was always going to be a great atmosphere, but probably the key thing is that the fans, they stayed with the team when they were losing, and they've got to now. They'll go down Aston Villa in the numbers again next week, and hope for a better result.
Fantastic. Well, we'll let you get off, Lee. Thanks for joining us. You can head over to chroniclelive.co.uk to see Lee's match reports, his player ratings. We have Sean McCormick doing the 5 things as well. We'll have all the response and reaction from Steve Bruce and the players. And if you are listening later on the podcast, please remember to like and subscribe.